Oh, okay, I get it. So you get stepped on by the Dom girls, and then you step on the sub boys. Got it.
Exactly. Hello everyone, welcome back to 4pixels. Coco and Kimi are here with our guests Slayflay and Buttons. We are continuing the letter. Isabella was just a badass.
Yeah.
But how did she get the taser?
From Marianne? Question mark.
But did she knock Marianne out?
It's been heavily.
I don't think she would need to. They do recognize each other.
Yeah. And it's been heavily implied that time doesn't behave right when you have the not Silent Hill verse going on. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the span of what seems like 10 minutes or 5 minutes to Ashton was actually way longer. So Marianne went to the crawl.
That's possible.
It's also possible that Isabella decided not to listen to Ashton
and followed anyway.
No, that's true. The sobs led Ashton to the mansion's attic. In the middle of the room, he found a woman crouched on the floor, crying. Cautiously, he approached her, but as he was about to reach out for her, someone grabs him from behind. Ashton attempted to fight back, but his attacker quickly disarmed him, looping a towel around his neck and strangling him. But just when he was about to lose consciousness, a familiar voice rings in the room, and...
Right next to her trembling hands, both the taser and the rolling pin lie useless and forgotten, while the mood in the room eases. A long, gradual process of the tension lifting. For countless seconds we remain quiet, with only short gasps and sighs to fill the silence, allowing the adrenaline to ebb away and both our breathing to slow. Not a true repose by any means, but simply a brief respite. There's still the curse. We're still inside the mansion, in imminent danger. We still have no idea how to fix this. Outside, the rain seems to only intensify. Lightning flashes fleetingly somewhere, white and piercing as the sky rumbles. No rest for the wicked. I stir first, once recovered, having regained some semblance of sense and strength. Breathing still hurts, but it's bearable, as is moving, although every small motion causes a wince. There will be a bruising tomorrow. I can manage. Retrieving my gun from under the bed is easy, but only with some effort. I am able to drag an unconscious man to the far end of the room, snapping one end of a handcuff on his wrist while fastening the other to the bed frame. That should keep him restrained for a few hours, in case he wakes up prematurely. All through this, Isabella stays quiet. In fact, she hasn't even moved since. Her hands still shake, and taking in long draws of breath while she stares vacantly in front of her, almost as if she's in shock. Perhaps she isn't even expecting any result, spurred only by some kind of desperation. Now it's sinking in. Unfortunately, we need to get moving. We don't have time to wait for everything to register in our heads. Kneeling down in front of her, I give her a light shake.
Belle, we need to go. We can't stay here.
Slowly, she turns, staring at me with wide eyes. Worry flickers briefly in them along with something ineffable. Then, without warning, she lifts a hand and slaps me right across the face.
Nice.
The sound of it cracks the air, shattering the silence like a fragile glass breaking. Despite the familiar rumble of thunder outside, it manages to ring louder above the storm. I don't even know what hit me. Well, I do. Until my head has already snapped back and my cheek stings with her anger.
Good.
I don't know what hit me. I mean, Isabella's hand raised, and then suddenly my cheek hurt.
I wonder.
And it is anger. In spite of the stillness and the lack of words afterwards. Not fuming, though. Never fuming. But the kind that burns lightly and soundlessly. Frustration instead of seething rage. One that ebbs just as quickly as it flows. And once the tide subsides, there's only that gleam in her eyes. Warm, steadfast, and unflinching. Quietly, I brace myself for the truth underneath that gaze. It slips from her lips softly, nearly fading under the sound of the rain still falling fast, if not for the weight in each of her words.
What is wrong with you?
Belle,
If Zach didn't slip up, no one would have known where you went.
Belle, one person knowing is enough. Any more than that, and
You almost died. He could have suffocated you right then and there, and you could have died.
I told Zach to give me 4 hours. That would have been enough time to...
It would have been too late. And by the time anyone ever finds out, you're already fertilizer.
She trails off, drags one indrawn breath after another. A brief lull as her frustration finally gives, dissolving into something more pensive and somber. Her shoulders droop, and though her voice rises hoarse and weary, in her next words there's only certainty.
You count too, you know. When I said, that night when I told you I don't want to lose anyone anymore, that includes you, alive. We're still here, Ash. You have us.
And once their meaning fall, roar. It does so not with the force of a dam breaking or a raging storm. But with the gentle, steady warmth of a hearth burning, an ember easing slowly and lightly, rising and giving until all that is left is truth, an understanding. Not alone. Never alone. It lingers, even as we both drift back into silence and her words take root, because in the gratitude that swells after is another warmth blooming. Pleasant, welcoming, like finding home, like finding ourselves in the haze of a squall that is left, creating something fragile yet immutable to both of us. It's in her eyes, in the way she holds my gaze unwavering, in the way she carries herself despite sitting amidst a place she fears. In the way she keeps herself from trembling and falling apart because fear is inconsequential when people she cares about are at risk. A change. She realizes that now and holds on to it. Another little thing, another small thing from her that may go unnoticed and pass by quietly, but it will eventually amount to a lot of things. Tiny gestures that mean nothing at first, but begin to matter to me one day until... Oh. Despite myself, a small smile slips from my lips and as the same warmth from earlier unfurls in my chest. Gay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just gay. Unhurried, familiar, and bright from all these years I've carried it, but have never given words for it.
Stop smiling like that, Ashton. I'm not done scolding you.
But this time they come easy.
I heard all of it. Don't worry.
Are you really okay? That guy hit you a little too hard on the head.
You hit him harder, it's fine.
True, though.
Let me.
Mm-hmm.
I reach up just as she extends a hand towards my face, catching her wrist in a light grip, drawing it closer and folding her hand in between mine. Gay! Although her expression does shift to mild confusion, she doesn't pull away like I'm expecting. She simply stares at me, searching. For her to allow a gesture from me that's perhaps too close, it tells a lot how far things have already shifted in the past few years. Cradled in mine, her hand still trembles. Most of the tremors have already subsided by now, though I doubt they'll fade away this soon. Even as I trace the lines of her palm in what I hope is a comforting gesture.
I'm sorry, Belle.
For what? Is this about what happened tonight? You can apologize later when.
No, well, this too, but it's not just about this. It's for a lot of things. For calling you clumsy, and careless, and a scatterbrain.
Are you sure this isn't a concussion?
You would think that, wouldn't you?
Well, you don't usually apologize.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that too. For all the times I've teased you and made you cry.
Unexpectedly, her fingers tighten around mine, our hands falling between us as something tender shifts in the air.
Gay.
Another exhale. Another drawn breath eases out of me, filled with every hesitation and uncertainties. But when I finally choose to break the silence, it's only when I know that what will slip past my mouth is the one truth I will hold against the world.
But for all those callous words, despite all those, there's nothing I don't love about you.
Woo! You said it.
In fact, those things, I love those.
Ultimate gay.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's you.
For a long moment, she offers no response. Her grip on my hands merely tighten. Although my heart's pounding hard against my ears, I take a chance and look up. Slightly leaning away, and giving her a cautious glance, more than ready to hear her rejection. And it is one, despite the smile on her face. If it can even be called one, of course. There's a pained aspect to it I can hardly name. Regardless of what it means to her or what she intends to convey with it, the sight of it alone makes me regret ever mentioning anything. It's almost as if she's forcing herself to push out the next words out of her mouth for the sake of not hurting me. Not that I won't be able to take it, but if these feelings will only put a heavier burden on her, I'd rather not have said anything at all. As expected, with one last squeeze at the hand cradling hers, she pulls her hand away from mine. When she speaks, though, there's a stark refusal to meet my eyes. Not that I hold it against her. Sorry, something flickered on the screen. Oh, okay, it's just the freaking light outside.
Yeah, it's the shoujo lighting effect.
Yeah, no, it was kind of annoying because I'm like, hold on, is fucking spirit possessing her right now? Thank God. The situation's already awkward as it is.
Ash.
She pauses, biting her lower lip. A small frown forms between her eyebrows while she struggles to find the right phrases to string together.
Ashton, I'm really sorry.
Oh, no, it's cool. I was already expecting that. Kind of. But you don't have to...
No, I mean, I can't. I can't afford to think of anything other than helping my family. Especially now that Papa's gone. They're going to need me more than ever, Ash. I'm sorry. I really can't. Not right now.
I've always known it would lead to this. To some extent, her family will always come first. Who am I to take that from her? It hurts, of course. Pain eases, knowing that in spite of circumstances, her heart will always be in the right place.
Curious about something. Yeah, it's pretty high. Alright.
I have a feeling you probably had to 100% it in order to do it.
God damn it.
That she's still the same woman I've fallen in love with.
I mean, this might be the case either way.
It could
That's
be.
true.
It's all right, Belle. Don't apologize. If it still matters, that's actually what I love about you. Of course, not that I'm expecting anything by telling you that, but you get the point. Yeah.
Thanks, Ash. I mean, thank you for loving me. Even after everything.
Someone save this poor boy.
Please.
Nah, let him fumble around. I like it.
Wow.
Coco! Now we know where Coco's kinks lie.
Like it was ever a mystery.
True.
I mean, I was kind of a little surprised to see that she likes to watch him suffer, considering she wants to be stepped on by every single dominant girl ever.
See? I'll step on the boys. That's how it goes.
Okay, I get it. So you get stepped on by the dom girls, and then you step on the sub boys. Got it.
Exactly.
Amazing.
I guess this means Coco's averse? Her response is a smile and a soft laughter, perhaps the sweetest I've seen and heard from her. Just from it, I know nothing will change despite her answer, and any lingering feelings that will come from this. And there will be. Lingering feelings, that is. With the way she barged into our lives 5 years ago, it'll probably be enough to leave a terrible impression on anyone. That's also precisely it. It's people like her that you don't forget easily. It's them that gradually worm their way into a person's life until the very thought of losing them becomes unbearable. As it is, I'm already content simply staying by her. No grand expectations or hopes attached. Just the banter, the small smiles, and the quiet little moments that roar. I love her, but that also isn't all there is to us.
I know I caused you all kinds of trouble these past few years.
Hey, whoever told you I'm doing this for free? After we're done with this curse thing, you're gonna owe me a year's supply of ice cream.
Ha!
Yeah, we'll see.
Another laugh, this time from both of us. Then she hits my arm with a light punch.
Meanwhile, Johannes is still knocked out, a little drool dripping from the corner of his mouth.
And chained to the bed. Let's not forget, handcuffed to the bed.
True.
Familiar, warm, bright and hopeful, much like everything about her. And it is strength enough to keep me going as I lead us both out. The ghost lady's just like, aw, how cute. I have to
I
kill
know,
you
right?
both now.
I'm just like, how will everything get ruined now?
I just like the concept that them handcuffing Johannes to the bed probably means that they've killed him.
Probably. But I don't think he ever saw the letter.
Oh, true. Having recovered, Ashton quickly urged Isabella to move, knowing it wasn't safe to stay idle. Without warning, however, Isabella slapped him. Furious at him for keeping people in the dark, she reminded him of what was important. And with that came a realization about himself.
Aw.
Aww. That's adorable.
Ash's head is too wide. Sorry.
He can't help the size of his head.
Are we saying Ashton has a big head? Because that's 100% accurate.
Yep.
Understanding how much she also meant to him, Ashton took both of her hands in his and apologized, and in a rare moment of honesty, confessed how he truly felt for her. However, although thankful, Isabella was unable to return his feelings and turned him down.
Power still hasn't come back when we make our way downstairs. Tricky, considering the stairs to the attic are a bit old. One misstep and anyone might end up slipping and falling. You're lucky if that's all that'll happen to you. With the stairs this steep, a broken neck is a likely outcome. Thankfully, Isabella's here to guide me through the darkness. She knows this place better than anyone, after all, in spite of all the misfortunes it has brought us.
Careful, the floorboards over there aren't very sturdy.
Right on cue, the same board I'm stepping on creaks and suddenly breaks, the pieces falling somewhere with a dull thunk.
Wouldn't? Whatever.
Oh shit. Scumbag wouldn't be too happy about that. Ow, my foot.
See? I told you so. You never listen to me.
They renovated the whole mansion. They can't even replace one tiny part of the house.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yep.
Why don't you file a complaint to BRC then? I'm sure they'd be thrilled to hear it. You know it was such a rush job.
Outside, the winds have intensified. Even from here, I can hear the gusts battering the window in the attic. It makes you wonder why, up until now, the only person we've encountered from this house is the butler. Although, to some degree, that makes sense. He is in charge of running the place. And something has happened to Hannah because he kept asking what happened to her.
I was gonna say, dipshit, did you forget the entire threat?
I mean, he was losing oxygen. Brain doesn't
Listen.
operate well when you don't have oxygen.
The boy has so much empty space in his head that he could store extra oxygen.
Obviously, because he's lasted a really long time while being choked out. Being choked out is secretly Ashton's kink. What? Where are the other servants, though? In this storm, wouldn't anyone want to stay inside? A likely assumption is they're all asleep. Or dead. The route I've taken doesn't really pass by the rooms they've likely assigned as a servant's quarters. However, they also have heightened security. I've brushed it off earlier, thinking they'll be posted a lot closer to where the master's rooms are, but the second floor is devoid of anyone as well. As if every inhabitant of this place has suddenly disappeared overnight. More importantly, where's that scumbag? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. The fact that we're here right in the fucking middle of it makes me all the more queasy. And that feeling only escalates once we reach the landing and Isabella swings the door open. She pauses abruptly in the doorway that I almost run into her. A look of confusion's in her as she looks wildly around the place, wordlessly taking in her surroundings. With each turn and shift of her eyes, her shoulders only grow tenser and a look of apprehension slowly dawns on her.
Isabella, what are you...
We aren't supposed to be here.
Sure enough, when I look up, we're standing right in the kitchen. Pots and pans and all. What? What are you two doing here? The fuck? In one corner, Zach and Rebecca watch almost as surprised as us. Cull's also with them. Of course, she didn't listen to me even if I've already exceeded the 15 minutes we've agreed upon. Although color and strength seem to have already returned to her, enough for her to be able to stand unassisted. The empty plate on the counter appears to have played a part in that. Good news, I guess. As for the other two, however, Relieved as I am that they've had the sense to wait and not venture deeper into the mansion, I can't help but roll my eyes at both of them.
Zach, I said 4 hours.
I know, but Isabella asked, and come on, bro. You know I ain't a very good liar.
And it didn't even occur to you to stop her?
If you had, you'd be dead.
Yep.
We all tried, all right? She was out the door before we could say anything.
And how did you guys even get in here?
All three of them exchange a look. One that I absolutely don't like. In the end, it's Isabella who speaks up, albeit with a bit of hesitation.
We heard someone scream, Ash. It led us here.
Without a warning, the door behind us slams shut.
We need to get out of here.
Screw right. I need to get these people out of here. Lucky we're in the kitchen and we have 2 ways out, the back door and the cellar offers. Except the hatch won't budge when I pull at it, and neither does the back door, as if something has locked it firmly on the other side. Zach also gives it a few tries, but even with the big guy's strength, it won't open.
Break the window.
Yeah.
Through the window! There's a long bout of silence in which we all simply look at each other, likely sharing the same thought. We're trapped. Something or someone has intentionally let us here. Fuck. In that same moment, once realization dawns in, something shifts again. Blood. In every nook and cranny, over every surface and in every inch of the floor. This time, unlike the first one I've seen, it remains, and gradually the whole room begins to reek of that familiar metallic scent. Sharp, suffocating.
Ooh.
Around us, every object, including the cupboards, have started to rattle as well. Sounds from outside, foreboding rumble of thunder, and even the howling winds have begun to fade away, replaced by whispers, shouts, and cries of pain. Although inaudible, each beat and note bombards every crevice in my head with vague images and sounds. There's no time to make sense of everything, however. I'm already shouting, fueled purely by adrenaline, barking orders and making a break for the door that leads to the next room, the dining. It should take us straight to the foyer, where the main door is.
Move! Run!
Right in front of us, the mansion has started to change and we're in the thick of it. However, instead of the dining room, like it's supposed to open to, the bedroom welcomes us instead.
What?
The house is moving. An image that lasts only but a second before blood begins to seep into the room. Filtering into the walls, trickling from every nook and cranny, everywhere furniture shakes and every beam rattles. Before we can even step back from the horror gradually unfolding in front of us, the door slams shut. A loud thud bringing a sense of dread and chill creeping up in each of us. Along with it is another realization. The whole place is reordering itself. And with the door closed tight behind us, showing no signs of budging, even through sheer force, there's no choice but to go forward and hope to all gods that it'll lead us to an exit. Until then, running's the only thing we can do, spurred by nothing but fear and a sense of desperation to live.
It's useless, Ashton Frey.
But with each room we pass, it only becomes apparent that the house has no intention of letting us leave. It lured all of us here, and we've fallen for it. Now it's playing a little game with us, sordid form of amusement. Home. Their laughter is the only thing we can hear. With every hall we cross and door we slide open, the hope of finding an exit merely dwindles. The gun at my hip is useless here. I am useless here. Some fucking genius I am. Some fucking person to trust I am. All of those, they mean nothing in the face of some unknown.
You finally figured it out. Huh, Ashton Frey? Just give it up. All of them will eventually die because of you.
And you are going to die alone.
Shut your fucking mouth.
You know it's true, though.
All of it. It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it. You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to save anyone.
The more gruesome the place turns, the bleaker our chances simply get. Wails and scream fill our ears as we pass by, words from a time and people long gone, laced with nothing but pure agony, calling out, reaching out to us. Their voices almost too real, as if we're not the only ones trapped here. There are others begging for release from this wretched place. Or maybe it's all just a show? A taste of what we will eventually be. Souls forever held captive in a never-ending nightmare.
Mother, I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please.
And with that, we will end this episode right here. Thank you guys for joining us, and see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.